actually I kind of want to be a tree when I go. What will you name my plant?
Theresa.
We put so much thought into celebrating milestones like birthdays, graduations, and marriages. But why don't we do the same for when we die? For a long time now, I have been curious about what options I have for end-of-life preparations. Thinking proactively about my choices now will also ease some of the burden on my loved ones when the time comes. You've heard the phrase getting my life in order. This is getting my death in order. I think about death every day and how it is inevitable. I was born with spina bifida. While it doesn't affect my lifespan, I still battle with my mortality. When the day comes, I don't want my loved ones to grieve excessively. So I want to find out if there are more meaningful ways to say goodbye. I'm previewing Showers of Love, which wants to help families find closure through a cleansing ceremony performed on the deceased. Afterwards, I'll find out how the ashes of a loved one can be encased in a ring at Apart SG. Finally, I'll experience a living funeral for myself with my family and friends to find out what it truly means to celebrate life before I die.
So welcome, Theresa, Marisa, to our Life Celebrant Showers of Love Sanctuary. Well, so for the Life Celebrant, we want to focus on the life story of the departed. So we like to commemorate memories as well as achievement that this person has done. So one of the services that we have in TLC is our Showers of Love ceremony. Welcome to our Showers of Love Sanctuary. This is Cello, our Showers of Love angel. So usually we will get family members to first of all initiate the service, where we get family members to help us to cleanse, firstly the feet, then followed by the hands, then after that the face. Throughout this whole showers, we always ensure that the dignity of the departed is always preserved. So we will start off with the foot scrub. So our angels will do a sort of a massage for the dearly departed. So it's really to give them that kind of spa experience. The whole process of Showers of Love usually is about 2.5 to 3 hours. So usually we will get family members to come and join us in dressing them up, even putting on the tie or doing the hair. Now for the ladies, we are very particular, and most importantly is the makeup. We have family members who say, oh, mom liked this Chanel lipstick. Yeah, sure, we'll use the Chanel lipstick.
So this reminds me of a conversation I had with my dad recently. And yes, he said that he would love to take part in something like this. I can't remember the last time, or if I've ever touched your face,
Please don't touch my face.
something that's so physical, so intimate, it's something you don't get to do with your sibling or even my parents.
I think the space is also very inviting. I think it doesn't really give you that shock factor of, when you first see a coffin, or, it's very intimate and very comfortable.
Very peaceful.
Marisa and I are really mindful about sustainability, and actually I kind of want to be a tree when I go. Is that an option?
Well, you can be a tree, but not in Singapore, unless you have a private land and then you can plant your own tree. But our option is actually this bio-urn potted plant.
What will you name my plant?
Theresa.
Theresa.
If you buy me landed property, then I will definitely plant you there.
Yes. And in fact, one family, because the sister has chosen that she wanted to be in a bio-urn, and she said every time there's a new shoot, she feels that the sister is alive, So we also have other products that is sustainable and also biodegradable. It's actually made out of gelatin. And then over here, we also have this lotus biodegradable urn where you can lay it into the sea and let it float for a while before it sinks into the sea as well. So we always ask family, don't rush into an option, don't rush into sea scattering. It's an irreversible process. Yeah. I can't undo it once we've done it. So it's best to really choose something that's meaningful.
These are all really interesting options. But I've heard of one where you can kind of be jewelry.
Yes, I think I've heard about one where you can turn your ashes into diamonds or something like that.
Yeah, or even have the ashes embedded into the ring. That could be an option for you.
Yeah, let me go and check it out. Apart SG is a local crafter that makes memorial rings embedded with ashes of loved ones in semi-precious stones. This time, I'm taking my brother Nicholas along to find out how it's done.
So you see, our rings have a groove to it, right? We'll put a layer of ashes around it first, and then we'll top it up with crushed opals of, well, the colors depends on what the client chooses. We have 5 different colors. This is the orchid pink, the ocean blue, pearl white, forest green, and the black amber.
What are the concerns that you have when you're dealing with human cremation ashes?
We need to handle it with a lot of care and respect, and a lot of sensitivity as well. The ashes, it looks like very fine sand. We constantly remind ourselves to treat each, batch of ashes as if it belonged to our own loved one.
Do you have any requests where they do not want any opals at all, just ashes?
Yeah, very interesting that you asked. We tell them, we've never done this before, but we can try.
When you receive the ashes, usually how much can you spread it across? With how many pieces of jewelry?
So each ring requires about 1/3 of a teaspoon or 1 gram of ashes. In the event that we don't use everything, we will, return it back in the packaging that it came to us in. We don't toss it or do anything else with it.
So how did you get started? What made you want to start this business?
My dad had a heart scare, and I thought I was going to lose him. My dad is my biggest role model. He's my best friend. We travel the world together. If my dad passes away, I need a part of him by my side wherever I go, especially when I travel. Thank goodness, after all the procedures, he's fine.
It's so relatable because I think our dad had a heart scare too a couple of years ago. I'm a sentimental person, I like to keep stuff.
When you were starting off, were there any challenges?
I am not skilled with any craftsmanship whatsoever, so it was a very steep learning curve for me. Thankfully for me, my parents are always very supportive of the things that I do, and especially, my dad. He knows that I'm doing this because of him, right? And they're not very pantang, right? They're not very superstitious, so it's all good, yeah.
So what did you think?
I think it's a really nice idea. Knowing the family, I think they will be on board with the idea. For myself, I'm not the sentimental one in the family.
Definitely not.
But I wouldn't mind holding something of the family. Even the pets, even the cats that we had.
And we have so many.
So many.
Yeah, it's just a really nice way to remember them by just looking down every few moments and remembering who they were in our lives. After being on this journey to view end-of-life options, I want to let my family and friends know how important they are in my life. I like the idea of holding a living funeral to give thanks while I'm still healthy and well. So, I'm throwing a celebration of life party. Wow, is this my house?
Yeah! This celebration of life is pretty similar to living funeral. Generally, a living funeral is usually done when a person is towards the end of the days, where we will do a celebration where we invite family members to come forward to share messages as well as for the patient to also share the message. But today, Theresa is really fine and we just want to really celebrate as she closed her chapter in the competitive world. It's also coincide with Theresa's birthday. So later, Theresa will address to all of you.
So firstly, thank you all for being here and actually being here. I was thinking of how long I knew you guys. I was like, oh my gosh, 15 years. And I say I'm surprised because I never thought that I would have long-term friendships because of swimming. And I think swimming took out a lot of my time and energy. And I thought that why would anyone want to maintain a friendship with someone who has no time for them? So sad, right? But thank you for loving me and accepting me wholly and completely. And I hope our friendship remains for the next 15 years and beyond. My siblings, you were my first best friends and always will be. Oh no. Oh no.
Why just email it to us?
I send it now. I know growing up with me occasionally place both of you in the shadows, and I'm sorry that it happened that way. Just know that I will always do my best to place you both in the light. Today marks 5 years. This is the easiest part. It marks 5 years since I retired from swimming. I look forward to going through all of life's challenges and milestones together.
Yeah, so next up we have Marisa to share.
Oh no. Oh no, I thought I'll be okay. Okay. That's it? My...
Oh no, it's coming.
Okay.
This is not our strong suit.
The big sister everyone wishes that they had. I'm blessed to be your sister. Okay, when people meet us, they tend to ask us who is older, and often they appear surprised to find out that you're the older one. And I'm not sure if it's because of how youthful you look or if it's because of how aged and tired I look. But to me, I've always thought that it was obvious that you're the older one. You're an incredible listener. You may only have like one good ear, but you choose to listen to all of our burdens with it, and that's how selfless you are. Your love and concern for your family is so selfless and boundless, and I love you for that. My first friend in life, my best friend for life, my Tati. I love you.
Yay, here's your cake.
I think in Asian culture, it's very hard to talk about death, and people are very wary of talking about the topic of dying, and I think that's changing a little bit. Going through this experience with my siblings, Marisa and Nicholas, I'm going to be able to broach the topic a little easier right now, when we do need to lah. Yeah. I think Showers of Love was very interesting, because my expectation was maybe something more morbid feeling or like scary, right? But the space was very comfortable, very cozy. So I think this gives another perspective and an option, something that I will definitely consider. Yeah. So a part was the one with the memorial jewelry, and it's something that I think a bit more of, and it's more mainstream. It's always difficult when you're trying to decide what to do with a loved one's remains. It makes sense to want to split it into different jewelry types. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I've heard of living funerals before, and I would hope that people will open their minds to something like this. It doesn't have to be something you do when you're like going to die. It can be something like a milestone, it's a next chapter kind of thing. It's also a nice way to give thanks, to be more deliberate in your celebrations. Yeah. In the course of journeying all the pre and post-death options, it struck me that I do not know the steps to take when someone dies. Here is what I found out. What should I do when a loved one dies? First, report the death to a doctor. Upon confirmation, the doctor will submit the information online to the Immigrations and Checkpoints Authority. Once the death has been certified, I can download a digital death certificate. Next, arrange the funeral service. This will include burial or cremation options. After cremation, I can store my loved one's ashes in a columbarium or home, or arrange for the ashes to be scattered. Then, I apply to be an executor or administrator of the estate. I will first need to check if a will has been made in the wills registry. If a will is present, the named executor can apply for a grant of probate to manage the estate. If not, I will need to apply for letters of administration. This allows me to manage my loved one's estate. Their assets may include CPF savings, property, and vehicles. Other administrative matters include paying outstanding bills and taxes, cancelling subscriptions, and closing accounts. Finally, get emotional support if necessary. It can be helpful to speak to family members, friends, join a support group, or speak to a counsellor. Just reach out.